That was the skill of catching insects. Have you learned it? Learn it and practice. In the future, on this land, you will have a family of your own. When going insect catching, never snatch the farmer's grain. And never touch things in the barns. Go, kids. Remember what I said.
Yes!
Yes!
Huh? Oh? Oh! Wait! Oh? Come get me! Come get me!
Ouch! Oh, I'm starving. We haven't caught a single worm yet. We should find a way.
Guys, I have an idea. Isn't there a rice field right next?
No, we shouldn't. Didn't Mama warn us not to snatch food? But starving is not an option, is it?
Yeah, we will only eat a little bit. We will have the energy to catch insects after we are full. Hey,
But, brothers! Wait up! Wait for me, brothers!
I'm stuffed. Let's take a look what there's to eat in the barn.
But didn't Mama say we shouldn't go in there?
Relax, Quaver. We'll just take a look at what's inside. Follow me. Delicious grains. Wow.
Oh, wait up!
Huh?
The grain here must not be touched. These are the grains that the farmers have painstakingly harvested.
There is so much grain here. We will not get caught if we just have a little bit. Come here, Quaver.
Should I take a bite? It shouldn't matter if I just have a little.
Oh? Where are our grains?
Something's going on.
Where the heck did they go? Who did this? I can't believe this.
We need your help.
Hey, over here! Everything in the barn is gone.
Get up, guys!
What are you doing here? Get out of my warehouse immediately!
Sparrows,
Get out of here!
get out of here!
Scram!
I'm sick of you!
Don't come back!
Don't ever come back.
Don't you dare steal my grains again, damn sparrows! Let's see if you're afraid of firecrackers!
Kids, looks like it's time for you to find your own home. I believe in the future you will have a family of your own.
Hey,
Brothers, wait for me! Brother guys!
Quaver, no matter what comes your way, you must stay strong. I have faith in you because you are my child.
Mommy. Eurasian tree sparrow, The Eurasian tree sparrow is a very interesting species. They are highly adaptable, and they are around us quite often. During non-breeding season, they eat the seeds of grasses. But during breeding season, they will catch insects to nourish their children. They eat a wide variety of food, like food crumbs, breadcrumbs, or even fodder. They eat all of these. Eurasian tree sparrows have a very special habit. When they walk on the ground, instead of putting one foot in front of the other, they hop around on the ground. And when Eurasian tree sparrows bathe, in addition to doing water baths, they also do sand baths. By shaking and rubbing their body in the sand, they clean the feathers and remove the parasites on them. Speaking of Eurasian tree sparrows, this species can actually make us reflect. In some places in the early days, Eurasian tree sparrows were listed as protected species because one year, when the farmers turned in the rice, the harvest was not good. Farmers complained to their superiors that there were too many sparrows and they ate all the rice. At that time, an order was given for the whole country to kill sparrows simultaneously. But in the next year, the crop harvest showed no increase, but decrease rather. There were pests because there were fewer sparrows. Locusts and insects ate all the crops. During non-breeding season, they mainly eat the seeds of grasses, but during breeding season, they eat insects. Sparrows play a very important role in nature. Every creature in the world has its own value and necessity. We should not easily disparage others, disparage other people. There is an old tree area in Haiwen and Yunlin. Sparrows will roost there at night. Seeing that companies are willing to protect these species instead of driving them away, it shows us the peaceful coexistence of humans and birds. This is why I'm deeply moved by Haiwen. Savannah nightjar. The shape of the Savannah nightjar resembles a rock. During the day, they sleep. They will rest on farmlands and on riverbeds, not moving an inch. When they nest, they lay the eggs directly on the ground. Originally, their habitat was on the riverbeds. Over the years, some dams were built that required dredging, leading to the destruction of the Savannah nightjar's habitat. So, they were forced to migrate and live in human settlements. Their ability to fly is exceptional, and their eyesight is also very good because they mainly feed on insects that fly in the air, like moths and mosquitoes. When night falls, they will take advantage of the afterglow moonlight and artificial light, like street lights or lights from night markets and factories. These lights will attract some moths. Savannah nightjars look for food in the air around these places. Their beak can open up to 90 degrees. Some people think that Savannah nightjar is a summer migratory bird and will leave in autumn and winter. The Savannah nightjar is in fact a resident bird in Taiwan. What is a resident bird? Resident birds are birds that live in Taiwan all year round. During the mating period, the sound they make is chewy, chewy, chewy. to chirping while standing on water towers, antennas, or the corners of eaves, they also sing while flying. But their mating calls can disrupt people's sleep. When the breeding season is over, they stop chirping. The protective coloration and stress resistance of savanna nightjars are excellent. Bird watchers or farmers are often unaware that there are savanna nightjars resting on the ground. When getting too close to them, savanna nightjars will get frightened. The cattle egret is a species closely related to the countryside. There used to be a nursery rhyme that went, "The egret overturned the dustpan by the streamlet. It fell down and found a penny." How are little egrets related to cattle egrets? During non-breeding season, cattle egrets will turn white. Only their forehead, that is, the frontal plate, will be slightly yellow. But during breeding season, their entire head and back will turn orange. Why are they called cattle egrets? Because earlier, in pre-industrial times, these egrets would help eat the parasites and flies on buffaloes. That's why farmers called them cattle egrets. Cattle egrets would follow the buffaloes and cattle, looking for food, eating the earthworms and insects turned up by these buffaloes and cattle. But because of the advent of mechanized agriculture, there are fewer and fewer of these cattle and buffaloes. Now what? Without buffaloes and cattle to follow, will these cattle egrets be starving? With no cattle and buffaloes to follow, they follow the tractors. So now we can see these cattle egrets foraging behind the tractors. In spring and summer, cattle egrets can be seen all over Taiwan. But when autumn and winter come, they can't be seen in northern Taiwan, but only in southern Taiwan. Why is it? In fact, most of the cattle egrets in Taiwan are migratory birds. They are summer migratory birds. Only a small number of cattle egrets are resident birds. Every September, in Taixing Village, Jiayi County, there's a stunning sight. Thousands of egrets flying south. That is, cattle egrets migrating. When they pass Taixing Village, thousands of cattle egrets fly across the valley, forming the scene previously described. In the month of September in Taixing, we can discover by looking at the cattle egrets that they are all white in color, because after the breeding season, these cattle egrets will lose their orange breeding plumage and become white, just like what we see during the thousands of egrets flying south spectacle. The whole flock glides in the air to their heart's content. The biggest difference between cattle egrets and little egrets is mainly in the beak. The little egret has a black beak, but during breeding season, 2 long ornamental feathers will grow from the back of the little egret's head. The cattle egret has a yellow beak, and during breeding season, its head and back will be replaced by orange breeding plumage. Little egrets like to be in estuaries, wetlands, and intertidal zones, catching fish to eat, while cattle egrets like to be on rice paddies. They eat insects and earthworms.
Once upon a time, birds and the indigenous Bunun people lived happily on this land. Suddenly, heavy rain hit. The rain kept falling. The river swallowed up the land. Helpless people rushed to Mount Jade and Mount Zhuoshu. The heavy rain mercilessly extinguished their fire. At night, everyone was shivering with cold. At this time, someone pointed to the opposite mountain. There was a raging fire on the top of the mountain. People suggested swimming over to get the fire. They soon found out it was not a good idea. Everyone was troubled, sunk in despair. A black shadow leaped over swiftly and devoured a bug. Everyone looked at this agile young bird, requesting it to assume the task of getting the fire. Upon hearing this, the bird immediately buried its head in the lime powder. Raising its white head, it exclaimed,
Look at me. I'm so old.
Everyone picked up stones angrily as they realized the bird's dishonesty, throwing them at the selfish bird. That's why the light-vented bulbul is now white-headed. No bird volunteered. That's when a colorful bird flew to the top of the mountain. Flames slowly lit up the night sky. The bird flew across the sky with people's flaming hopes in its beak. The fire kept burning the bird's beak, and the thick smoke blackened its entire body. In the end, the bird successfully delivered the fire. Everyone rejoiced. The black bird with the red beak is the fire-bearing hero of the Bunun people, the Black Bulbul.
Black bulbul. The black bulbul, like the light-vented bulbul, belongs to the Pycnonatidae family. The biggest difference between it and the light-vented bulbul is that except for the black body, its beak and feet are bright red. But its legs are very short. That's why it's also called the black short-legged bulbul. Also, the feathers on its head are fluffy, resembling a cute punk hairstyle, and there's a little slit at its tail. It can be seen in places like parks and school campuses. From flatlands to medium altitudes, they like to flock. What's worth mentioning is they live in small groups in spring and summer, but during the non-breeding season, in autumn and winter, their populations may reach hundreds of individuals, a stunning sight. It is more omnivorous. It eats small insects, fruits, seeds, nectar, and so on. It often nests high in the trees or on balconies or rooftop terrace roofs with less disturbance. The call of the black bulbul is a bit like a cat meowing and a bit like a sheep baaing. It sounds a bit like ba, ba, ba. So, if you are under a tree and suddenly you hear ba, 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 there's probably a black bulbul above you. It also likes to call people cheapskate, sounding like stingy in Chinese. Xiaoqigui! This is also the sound it often makes. As the fire-bearing hero of the Bunun people, the black bulbul is the sacred bird of the Bunun. Light-vented bulbul. The light-vented bulbul is also known as the Chinese bulbul. It belongs to the Pycnonatidae family and is a unique bird subspecies endemic to Taiwan. Its head is mainly black in appearance, but behind its eyes to its head, that is, the back of its head, there is a very striking patch of white feathers. That's why it's called the light-vented bulbul. Its back is mostly gray. Its wing and tail feathers are olive yellow and green. Legend has it that in the past there was heavy precipitation and villages of the indigenous Bunun people were flooded. People asked the light-vented Bulbul to fly across the flooded area to get fire from the mountain on the other side. But due to fear, the light-vented Bulbul smeared its head white with ashes from the ground and said it was too old to fly. From then on, the gods punished it for its selfishness and made the head of the light-vented Bulbul stay white. Every year when spring and summer come, it is the breeding season of the light-vented Bulbul. When they nest, they will choose places that are relatively secluded and not easy to be found, like tree forks and bushes. So, they build sturdier nests shaped like human bowls. If feeling threatened, like when animals or humans approach their nests, the parent bird will feign injury through movements, pretending to be wounded to attract the attention of the predators and lure them away to protect the fledglings. In fact, birds are just like us humans. Parents will always try their best to protect their children, for them to grow up happy and healthy. Its chirp resembles the word chocolate in Chinese. Chocolate! A very unique call. When it perceives danger, it will make a low and rapid chirp, 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 which is its alarm call. They also eat things like fruits and small insects. They often move in groups in the woods and can be seen in school campuses, parks, and farmland. The light-vented Bulbul, warbling white-eye, and Eurasian tree sparrow are called the three treasures of the city. So, in fact, the light-vented Bulbul can be spotted often in our daily lives. Malayan night heron. We can often see it in the park or on the campus lawn. A brown bird that's quite large. That's actually the Malayan night heron. It is mainly brown, but at the back of its head there is a black crest, and its lure is slightly blue. During breeding season, its lure will turn a very vivid bright blue. This is the breeding plumage of the male Malayan night herons. Male and female birds can also be distinguished by the vividness of their color blue. During this period, male birds can often be seen standing high up, such as on the trees, making a hoot, hoot, hoot sound like an owl. It's actually a special call that male birds make when they are courting. The primary food source of the Malayan night heron is earthworms. It also eats insects, frogs, and lizards. It stares at the ground as it forages. When it sees movement, it will peck down vigorously. Sometimes the earthworm is larger than usual, and you can witness the interesting scene of it playing a tug-of-war with the earthworm. When it eats earthworms, there will be a very noticeable twisting movement at its throat. This is its unique foraging habit. In the early days in Taiwan, the Malayan night heron was also a difficult species to find. But in recent years, it can often be seen in parks and on campuses. Have you seen it before? It has a nickname, Big Stupid Bird. It is because the Malayan night heron performs protective mimicry. Why is it? When it feels threatened, which may be because natural enemies or humans come too close, it will use its protective color to pretend that it is a tree. You can't see me! You can't see me! Just staying put, like playing the 1-2-3 freeze game. When it perceives there's no more danger, it will run quickly and flee the scene. That's why we call it Big Stupid Bird.
Hello, your package has arrived.
Oh, thank you, Black Drongo.
You have a lot of letters today. Please deliver them. Huh?
Hello, Black Drongo. I just came back from far away. And here's a letter from your hometown.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Eagle.
Why do you look so sad?
My mother is sick and needs me to buy some medicine to take home. But I'm so busy with work recently, I can't go back to my hometown right away.
I will handle it.
Huh?
I can fly many kilometers in a day. But first, you must give me a big chunk of meat for me to replenish my body.
Black Drongo immediately went to buy 2 big chunks of meat and a big pack of herbs.
Here are 2 chunks of meat and a pack of herbs. Please deliver one of the chunks of meat and this pack of herbs to my mother on my behalf. Thank you.
I'm starving. Let me find a place to rest. This is good.
After finishing the meat, Mr. Eagle drooled while staring at the other chunk of meat. Mr. Eagle couldn't help but take a big bite of that chunk of meat. While eating the meat, the eagle didn't realize that the rope of herbs behind him came loose.
Oh no! There go my herbs! What am I gonna do now? Oh no! All my taste.
Now there was no meat left, and the herbs were gone with the wind. Feeling guilty, the eagle hid in the forest. A few days later, Black Drongo learned that the herbs and meat had not been delivered to his hometown. Angrily, he went to dispute with the eagle.
Great! The letters are all delivered.
Black Drongo!
Oh, I'm sorry, Black Drongo! I'm sorry!
Where are all my herbs and meat?
Hey, stop it! Don't do that!
You're such a liar!
The Black Drongo is an agile flyer. No matter how big the eagle is, it is not its opponent. The eagle escaped with a lot of injuries, never daring to appear in front of the Black Drongo again.
I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, it'll never happen again.
From then on, once the Black Drongo sees the raptor, it will rush to fight it.
Ouch!
You can't be trusted!
Sorry!
Black Drongo! It belongs to the Dicruridae family with ink black feathers all over its body. That's why we call it Black Drongo. The Dicruridae family has a prominent feature. The end of their tail is forked and turned up slightly. It's like they're wearing a well-fitting, elegant tuxedo, like gentlemen. But they are, in fact, very territorial and very protective of their young. What's more, their flying skills make it easy for them to dodge and attack. The habitat of the Black Drongo is right around us, so it is easy to spot. And the way they build their nests is also quite simple. Sometimes they're built on utility poles. During the breeding season, from April to July every year, when its nest area is infringed, it will attack. Even some raptors that are much larger than it. Sometimes people riding motorcycles passing by its nest area will also be attacked. It is brooding. It has to protect its babies. Because it is fierce and territorial, it can be called the tigress among birds. Black-winged kite. The black-winged kite is a Class II protected animal of the Accipitridae family. It has 3 colors on its body, namely black, gray, and white. We also call it the black-shouldered kite. Their eyes, specifically their irises, are like shiny rubies. There has always been documented breeding of black-winged kites in the Jinmen Islands. It was first discovered that there might be breeding of black-winged kites in the island of Taiwan's Aogu wetlands in 1998. However, it was not until 2001 that their successful breeding was first documented and confirmed in the Yulin coastal area. Now it is easy to see their signs of habitation in Kaohsiung, Pingtung, Tainan, Changhua, and Yunlin. They have superb flying and gliding abilities. Black-winged kites are like Apache helicopters. They can hover in the air to find prey. They eat mice, small birds, lizards, and insects. Once their prey is found, they will swoop down to catch it. Farmers in Wufeng, Taichung take advantage of black-winged kites' foraging habits and set up perches in the fields so that the black-winged kites can roost and stand to help catch foals. Farmers in Wufeng reduce the use of rat poison, so the rice grown in this way is super healthy. The environment is very safe, and it is a kind of eco-friendly farming method. Black-shouldered kite rice is produced, and it is a certified product.
A long time ago, there was an old lady who lived alone in a hut at the foot of a mountain. Her name was Chiku. Every morning, Granny Chiku would sprinkle some rice in front of the door for the red-collared doves who lived in the tree across from her. Sometimes, Granny Chiku would also serve as the wedding witness of the red-collared doves. Every day, they accompanied one another. One morning, the red-collared doves were waiting for her as usual. They kept waiting, but she didn't show up. The red-collared doves flew to her window and found her with a high fever and coughing. The red-collared doves were worried about how to help Granny Chiku and decided to fly to the village to seek help. Hey, look up there! Look at all these birds! What's going on? Where'd all these birds go?
You bet.
What's
noisiest thing. They're so noisy.
Anyone explain this?
How annoying. Huh? Go away! Go away, naughty birds!
No one listened to the red-collared doves. At this time, a red-collared dove thought of another way. They flew into the woods to seek help from their mates, the pigeons and the spotted-necked doves. The red-collared doves bowed 90 degrees to ask for their help with utmost humility. The doves saw the sincerity in the red-collared doves and decided to help them. The doves stood all over the roofs and called, "Coochie-cuckoo, chee-cuckoo, coochie-cuckoo, chee-cuckoo." One after another, people stopped to look at these flocks of doves. Then an old man shouted,
Oh, I remember. At the foot of the mountain lives an old lady named Chiku.
Wow!
People followed the red-collared doves to Granny Chiku's house.
What's happening?
With the people's help, Granny Chiku slowly recovered her health. Every day, the red-collared doves stayed by her side.
The red-collared dove belongs to the Colymbidae and is the smallest of that family in Taiwan. There are some differences between males and females. The head of the male bird is gray-blue, and its body is a striking wine red. But the female bird is darker in color. Its entire body is mostly brown. There is a ring at the back of its neck, as if it's wearing a black necklace. They are commonly seen on plains, farmland, in parks, and on school campuses, living right around us. Generally, when birds drink water, they hold water in their beaks, that is, in their mouths, and then raise their heads to let the water flow down their throats. But the red-collared dove is special. It can directly sip water into its mouth without raising its head. During the breeding season, the male bird will perform a courtship dance. It will keep nodding and bowing to the female bird. If the female accepts the romantic advances, they will build a nest and brood together. But it's also possible that the female bird rejects the proposal. Then it will just flap its wings and fly away. In addition, the biggest difference between the red-collared dove and the common pigeon is that there is a layer of light gray on the pigeon's body, as if covered in powder, so they are also called bunqiao, or powdered birds. This is the biggest difference between them. The Eurasian kestrel belongs to the Falconidae family and is a Class II protected bird in Taiwan. It doesn't fly as fast as a peregrine falcon. As if wandering through the sky, it flies slowly, like the black-winged kite. It can hover in the air to find prey. When the target is found, it will fold its wings and dive down quickly to catch the prey, then leap from the ground. It eats small birds, insects, and mice. When flying, its wings are retracted, so it looks like a very delicate kite. It often hovers in the air to find prey and has eyes that can see ultraviolet light. It can see the path the voles have taken because the urine of voles reflects some of the light. In fact, most birds have fixed foraging areas and habitats. The Eurasian kestrel is no exception. So for us, observing the Eurasian kestrel in the wild is actually quite easy because its living habits are quite invariable. It can be found in open farmlands, estuaries, and grasslands. Eurasian kestrels are winter migratory birds in Taiwan. They can only be seen in winter. Winter migratory birds fly from the north, where it's cold, to Taiwan for the winter. Around springtime, when it's warmer in the north, they will return to their homeland to breed. This characterizes winter migratory birds.
Once upon a time, there was a foreign businessman named Liao. Liao had a bird that could mimic speaking called Kaling. Every morning, Liao would teach Kaling how to speak.
Can you say hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
One day, Liao went to work. Kaling called out as usual.
Liao? Liao? Have a good day at work, Liao.
But Liao, who was in a hurry to go out, forgot to close the windows at home. Curious, Ka Ling wanted to go out and see the outside world.
Get a chance.
Ka Ling shouted at the top of his lungs.
Hello.
Every time Ka Ling met a person, it would imitate them speaking.
Yummy.
Yum, yum. Come to my butcher stand to buy meat. Come buy meat.
Come by me.
Wow, this bird is amazing.
They smell wonderful and
Little blackbird. Tell everyone the flowers here are beautiful.
Beautiful and fragrant. Beautiful and fragrant.
Wow, I've never seen a bird like this before.
having never seen a talking bird, people eagerly approached to watch it.
Wow, look at that.
Fabulous weather. Fabulous weather.
I never thought I'd see
But there was a shady businessman hiding nearby. In the evening, when everyone went home,
Master, Liao, Liao.
Master Liao. Master Liao.
Looks like I'm going to make a fortune this time.
Master Liao.
the businessman took Ka Ling and came to Formosa, Taiwan by boat.
Everyone, come check it out. This is a talking bird.
Hello.
Hello.
It's so rare. Wow, I'll buy it from you for 300.
I'll buy it from you for 500.
700.
Then Ka Ling saw a man wearing a hat similar to its owner.
Liao.
Liao? Who is Liao?
Liao? Who's this Liao guy he's talking about?
That was its nickname. Its real name is Baga. Baga. Look at it. Isn't there an 8 ba on its wings? So it's called Baga. Fa, fa, fa. Right. Baga is its name.
In the end, it was bought by an old gentleman. The old man looked at the myna in the cage and realized it had become so heartsick. He decided to open the cage and let the myna go.
Thank you.
Javan Myna. First of all, we can easily spot it in urban areas or in the suburbs. Even when driving on the highway, you'll notice flocks of birds, which are usually black or dark brown. These birds are mynas. In Taiwan, they're called gaving. The reason is the sound they make, ga-ga. That sounds like their Taiwanese name. The reason why they are called baga in Mandarin is because when they fly, a large white spot shows on their wings. The white spots on both sides looks like the number 8 in Chinese, ba, so people call it the 8th brother, baga. The most common myna in Taiwan is the Javan myna. Then there is a kind called the common myna. Sometimes we also call it the myna with spectacles. The least common is the Formosan crested myna, or we just call it myna. Of these 3 kinds of mynas, the easiest to recognize is the common myna. It has bare yellow skin like spectacles next to its eyes. It is biologically the part of the bird's body that does not have feathers, that is, its skin. Take a closer look at the common myna. There's an interesting feature. Its eyes have bright spots that look like stars when viewed up close, on its iris, next to the pupil. Its body is dark brown with a little black. Then another black myna is the most frequently seen Javan myna. Its white tail is not an easily recognizable feature. Its most recognizable feature is its yellow beak. Also, it doesn't have bare yellow skin next to its eyes. The least common myna is the Formosan crested myna. It's all black, the largest, and only its beak is white. In addition, at the base of its beak there is a lovely patch of black feathers that is higher than its head. So the English common name of the Formosan crested myna is crested myna, meaning a myna with a crest. Animals can be divided into native species and exotic species. The native species is the one on the Taiwan island. Before people came, it was originally here. Exotic species are those that follow people as they come by taking a plane or boat. In 2014, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, listed the 100 world's worst invasive alien species. The common myna was the worst among all birds. It was introduced to Hawaii in the 19th century. It was originally believed that this kind of bird could eat certain pests, but later they found that this exotic species had no natural enemies. Because the island is relatively small, there are relatively few animal species on the island. Once there are exotic species of rats, snakes, or birds, the native species on the small island are easily wiped out by the exotic species with no natural enemies. The most common seen on the road is the Javan myna. The endemic Formosan crested myna can be seen the easiest around the Taipei Basin. For example, the Xindian and the Danshui Riverside Parks. The Javan myna and common myna are exotic species. They are not picky about their nest site. They can nest on utility poles or pipes of street lamps. For example, on the arc-shaped wall in the courtyard of the southern branch of the National Palace Museum in Chiayi, or under major bridges. Relatively speaking, Taiwan's native myna is more demanding about its nest site. It can't compete with other exotic mynas. This is one of the reasons for its decrease in number. Exotic mynas were introduced to Taiwan mainly for viewing and entertainment purposes. When accidentally escaping from their cages, they became exotic species or invasive species. Birds learn songs the same way human babies learn languages. It is relatively easy to learn at a young age. So if given some training when young, some mynas can say hello, welcome, and thank you. So if we're going to train these birds to talk, it should be done when they're still chicks. There have been news stories about people climbing utility poles and getting electrocuted when trying to get baby mynas with nests on utility poles and streetlight pipes. That's why we don't encourage you to buy wild birds, because when you buy a wild bird, you will also want the bird to be well behaved, so you will have to raise it from an early age. As a result, when we buy wild birds, we encourage hunters to catch baby birds in the wild.
Little brother, where are you?
I am here!
Huh? There you are.
It's my turn to be it.
Oh,
Ouch!
Huh?
Help me! Help!
little brother, don't move. I'll save you. Are you okay? Does it still hurt?
It doesn't hurt anymore. Thank you.
Oh, I'm relieved.
Hey, kids! Time to come home.
Mom, Brother took me to so many fun places today.
Oh, go wash your hands and get ready for a snack.
The mother was always partial to the younger brother. This was because the elder brother was not her biological child. The mother always thought that the elder brother must have been secretly bullying the younger brother. One day, the mother gave each of them a bag of beans.
You're all grown up, and it's time to learn to be independent. Take this bag of beans to plant. You can only come home after harvesting.
The bag the mother gave the elder brother actually contained cooked beans. The purpose was to drive the elder brother away. At this time, the younger brother saw that the elder brother's beans were bigger than his.
Your beans are so big. Can I trade with you?
Of course, no problem.
But they didn't know that the beans were so big because they were cooked. Before parting, the elder brother gave his cape and rations to the younger brother.
Here, take it.
1 year later, in spring, the elder brother successfully brought back a big bag of beans.
Huh? How could you grow beans when your bag of beans was cooked?
Huh?
That's when the elder brother remembered the exchange of beans with his younger brother. The elder brother flew out in a hurry to look for the younger brother.
Little brother! Come home! Little brother! Where are you, little brother? Brother! Huh? This is the cape I gave him. He must be in the mountains.
The elder brother kept looking for his younger brother in the mountains and forests. Day and night, he worked hard to find his younger brother. In the end, the elder brother felt exhausted and collapsed in the woods.
Brother, where are you?
Under the moonlight, the forest began to speak.
I saw you've been busy in the forest every day. Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for my younger brother. If you see him, please tell him to come home.
In the end, the elder brother drew his last breath and fell into the leaves. The forest was moved by this scene and decided to help the little bird. Green leaves covered his entire body. The elder brother transformed into a green bird with white eyes. This is the swinhoe's white eye we're familiar with today. Now we can see it all over the city. The lovely swinhoe's white eye. Have you ever listened carefully to its sound? It keeps calling, Dee-dee, brother, Dee-dee, brother. Don't forget to tell it if you spot its younger brother.
Swinhoe's white eye. Today, we are going to talk about the swinhoe's white eye. It is as small as sparrows that we see in urban areas, about the size of our finger, but it is green. It is called white eye because there is a white circle next to each of its eyes. This is related to its Latin scientific name Zosterops, meaning eye girdle. That is, there is a white circle around its eyes. Swinhoe's white eyes feed on small invertebrates, insects, spiders, pollen, or some fruit. In winter, there are some cherry blossoms in the urban areas of Taipei, and you will see flocks of swinhoe's white eyes gathering and looking for food there. At this time, if you look at them carefully, at the base of the beak there will be a tint of yellow or white, and that's all pollen. Basically, they eat all small things their beaks can accommodate. It's usually when they're feeding their young that they prefer to eat insects. Their nest is bowl-shaped. It is mainly made of grass blades, such as silvergrass, and then tied with some spider silk to form a nest shape for use. Small birds like it generally use nests from February or March to June or July to breed. After the breeding is over, the nest will be left there and the young will be taken away. Swinhoe's white eye makes a chirping sound. Its singing is actually quite nice. And because of this, it has also become a target bird species that is easy to be caught among wild birds. On some bird streets or in bird shops, we can often see people selling swinhoe's white eyes. In principle, we do not encourage people to buy wild birds. The name of the white-eyes in the eBird database is Swineho's white-eye, meaning that they're named after Robert Swineho. The reason for this change is because birds resemble people. We speak different languages in different places. Therefore, in different regions, there will be birds that look the same but are not the same. This is called a subspecies. In recent years, the subspecies of white-eyes have been split into two types, Swineho's white-eye and Japanese white-eye in Taiwan. The latter's scientific name, Zosterops japonicus, means that they also live in Japan and the Philippines, and Swineho's white-eyes are distributed in southeast China and Taiwan. This classification may change in the future. Therefore, when we input and query the data, we must call it Swineho's white-eye, and in normal times, we can call it white-eye. White wagtail. Now we're going to introduce the white wagtail, a bird about the size of your hand that is often seen on the ground. It's black, white, and gray. When it walks on the ground, its tail will keep wagging up and down. This type of bird is called the wagtail. There are about 3 species of wagtail in Taiwan, white, gray, and yellow. Here we're introducing the white wagtail. The white wagtails are a genus Motacilla, Latin for moving tail. In addition to wagging its tail, it's also fascinating when this bird species flies. It will make a chirping sound. There are 3 common subspecies of white wagtail in Taiwan. The most commonly seen is the white-faced white wagtail. It's all white around its eyes. This is the Leucopsis subspecies. There are 2 other subspecies. One is Lugans and the other is Ocularis. These 2 subspecies have a characteristic, an eye stripe over the eye. Their backs are gray or black. They are different subspecies, but the ornithologists have yet to separate them into distinct species. The white wagtail is a bird species widely distributed in Eurasia. It can be seen from the UK to Japan, Taiwan, and even south to India and the subcontinent. The white wagtail normally likes to look for food on the ground, especially by the water. It also usually lives on rooftops, urban areas, and concrete jungles. White wagtails have a very special behavior in Taiwan. In winter, they will find a place to sleep together, just like a dormitory. We endearingly call it the wagtail tree. Near the wagtail tree, we can see a lot of wagtails flying to the tree to sleep before dark. Because birds sleep with their heads turned to the side to hide their beaks, so when we look from below, we see them turn into something like a pole, like a ball, resting over there. They will leave at dawn and then go to their respective territories to forage. The difference between the white wagtail and the common Eurasian tree sparrow or the Swineho's white-eye is that they are more territorial, so we will normally see 2 wagtails together defending their territory from other birds, saying, "This territory is ours, stay away!" Only in spring, when they all fly north for their breeding location, or when they all go south in the fall to the wintering habitat, will these birds flock together. The white wagtail mainly eats various bugs. It especially prefers insects that live near the water. The white wagtails of the Leucopsis subspecies breed in Taiwan, but their population is limited. They will breed in gaps of buildings, in ditches, or under bridges, and they are not easy to find. If you see white wagtails with white and yellow on their faces, they are young birds born this year, and they can start breeding next year. They are cute birds that are small in size. many trees here.
Hi, Quaver.
Hi,
Quaver.
How are you?
Quaver.
I'm so happy. Why are you all here?
Quaver.
Quaver!
Come on over here.
Brothers!
Quaver.
I'm so happy to see you again. I've met so many friends along the way.
He and I met a huge eagle. We got so scared.
Quaver.
Oh, it's Mommy. Mommy.
Mommy.
Mommy, I missed you so much.
Mommy, Mommy. Oh.
Come here. Let me tell you. The buildings here can shelter us from wind and rain. This is the home of all birds and our safe haven. The environment here is very clean and tidy. The schedule is regular. There are also enough foraging areas around. And the humans here are very friendly to us and won't drive us away. This is our new home for the future.
It should be mentioned that when it comes to wild animal and plant watching, in fact, compared to before, there are more gadgets, more knowledge, and better tools. For instance, we all have mobile phones that can take pictures now. And if you have photos of animals and plants on your mobile phone, you can upload them to a citizen science database called iNaturalist. As long as you upload them there, someone will help you with the identification. For birds, there's another dedicated database called eBird. So we encourage people, if you know how to identify birds, use eBird to document them. If you don't know how to, eBird has a corresponding software called Merlin, Merlin the Magician. Just tell Merlin how big the bird is, where you saw it, what color it is, and if it was on the ground or in the air. Then Merlin can use eBird's big data to help you guess what kind of bird this is. Nowadays, photographing and identifying creatures are easier than ever. What we lack is, after knowing the creature, can we understand the story behind it? Can we learn more about the animal's or plant's current status or threats to it, other than just the animal or plant itself? I think this is what we need to pay attention to. In addition to caring about rare birds, caring about beautiful birds that we have never seen before, shouldn't we also care about whether the sparrows have become fewer? In fact, there are fewer sparrows, but because sparrows are so common, no one cares about them, or whether some common bird's population has decreased. We actually want everyone to get to know these animals and plants, and to also spend more time understanding the stories behind them, not just taking pictures, showing off the 300 or 400 bird species you saw or took pictures of this year. They're all beautiful. But in fact, what we want to express is, when you saw or photographed this bird, how did you feel? You can find out more about its story. Or, as mentioned before, perches set up for the black-winged kites or the jacanas, or the relationship between jacanas and the water chestnuts in Guantian District. What kind of help can we provide in this relationship? Can we create a new eco-friendly agriculture? Or is there any company today that is willing to allocate part of its profits, after making money from investments, to those who are willing to protect the environment so that they protect the environment or animals? I think for this matter, we need more people of action.
Nowadays, due to the progress of electronic products, many children may have the opportunity to get their hands on electronics such as mobile phones and tablets when they are in elementary school. Although this makes their life more convenient, it also causes children to face the problem of myopia early on. Our eyes are prone to fatigue when we use these electronic products for a long time, When watching birds, we look into the distance. We see green plants, mountains, and the blue sky. In fact, since I started birdwatching, my myopia improved by 100 degrees in less than half a year. So far, it's been 2 years and my myopia has improved by 225 degrees. When parents take their children outdoors to engage in birdwatching activities and get close to nature, the parent-child relationship can also be enhanced. In addition, I would like to remind all the children that spring and summer are the breeding season of birds. If you see a small bird under a tree or on the grass and it's not moving a lot, do not pick it up because its parents are watching it. It's actually a baby bird that just left the nest and it's learning how to forage on its own, flapping its wings to learn how to fly. So be sure not to pick it up, kids. As the saying goes, today the birds, tomorrow the humans. Where birds can live, humans can live too. But birds may not be able to survive in the environments that humans can live in. When the environment changes, birds will leave first, because birds are far more sensitive to environmental changes than humans. Just like the greenhouse effect in recent years, nature's retribution is caused by our failure to care for the environment. If the current environment makes it impossible for birds to survive, one day in the future, we humans will not be able to survive either. The trees and stones we move can all be the homes of insects or small animals. So, when being in the wild, try taking care of nature in a way that doesn't disturb or destroy it. As for rice planting in Taiwan, there are both transplanting and direct seeding methods. The direct seeding method consists of scattering the rice seeds directly on the farmland for them to grow by themselves. But oftentimes, after sowing the seeds, the sparrows and other kinds of birds in the air will think they're at a free all-you-can-eat, and the whole flock will fly down to feast. However, rice is the farmer's source of income, so this is an unbearable disturbance. A few years ago or more, farmers would soak the rice seeds in pesticides, sprinkling pesticides directly on the farmland, and then a large number of birds would fly down to eat them, possibly causing a lot of deaths and injuries. If all rice is grown from the seeds with such pesticides, the entire ecosystem and our own health must also be jeopardized. We should try not to spray pesticides and try our best to care for the natural environment. Black-winged kite rice, Chicana rice, or even eagle red beans in Pingdong. These are all products dedicated to protect nature, birds, and every one of us. I also want to call on everyone to support such an environmentally friendly eco-farming so that we can all love and grow together in such a beautiful environment, our island of Taiwan.
Here in Yunlin, there is a quite marvelous sight. Around 5 o'clock in the afternoon every day, there will be nearly 10,000 birds entering a technology company and roosting there at night. The name of this technology company is Hiwin. With so many birds in the factory area, employees had different views on the matter. Some believe that with this many birds in the factory area, their droppings may have some impact on our environment. There was also another faction who felt that these birds did not go to other factories but came to our company. It must mean that they recognize us as friendly and kind to the environment. If we drive these birds away now, where will they go? So Hiwin authorized us to do an investigation here, surveying which birds come and go in the factory area, where, when, and how many birds there are. According to the data we gathered, there are 36 bird species active in the factory area and 72 species in total around the factory area. The most common species in the factory area are the Eurasian tree sparrow, myna, and light-vented bulbul, followed by Swinhoe's white-eye, red-collared dove, black drongo, cattle egret, and Malayan night heron. There are also birds of prey in the sky, like the black-winged kite and Eurasian kestrel, which will also fly over the factory from time to time. In Taiwan, according to current records, there are more than 680 species of bird, and these records continue to increase every year. How many bird species are there in the world? At present, there are more than 9,700 species of birds recorded in the world. Based on the land area of a region and the number of bird species in such land area, currently, the country with the highest density of bird species in the world is Colombia, and Taiwan ranks second in the world. We can notice high wind's friendliness to these birds and to the environment, allowing these birds to live here at ease, roost here at night, and breed here. This is why these birds love living here, and also why we love living here.
The white dots on these red fire pipes are all bird droppings. The issue is that their car got soiled with bird droppings. So we started off thinking of this as a problem, because one could say that they are familiar with us, they also know that we will not harm them. So over time, we've gotten used to them and they've gotten used to us. The only difference is what else we can do for them.